As we enter May of 2021, some of you are going to be treated to a very nice meteor shower in the form of the Eta Aquarids. I say some of you because where you live on the planet is going to have a pretty big impact as to whether this is a somewhat impressive or quite impressive meteor shower. In today's video, we're going to talk about the specifics of exactly when and where you need to look, regardless of where you live on our planet, to enjoy the Eta Aquarid Meteor Shower. If you enjoy this video, please like it and subscribe to this channel. But most importantly, let me know about your experience with the Eta Aquarids in the comments section below. Let's begin by explaining why there is a difference between the northern and southern hemisphere skies, and also go over some tips that can help you maximize the number of meteors to see for this year's show. Now, why would your location on our planet have an impact on something that you look up and see in the nighttime sky? It's honestly something that I don't think about that often and sometimes even forget, but the night sky can be slightly or significantly different for a lot of us depending on how far north or how far south our latitude is on our planet. The Eta Aquarids is a great example of this. From where I live in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be a minor meteor shower, but I still might get out to try and see it. But for those of you that live in the southern hemisphere, this can be a pretty impressive show with up to 30 to 40 meteors per hour on some years. But regardless of where you live, there are some key things that you want to do to maximize your experience with a meteor shower. First and foremost, make sure you get to as dark of a sky as possible and give yourself 20 to 30 minutes for your eyes to adapt to the darkness. Number two, as someone mentioned in the comment section of my last video, make sure you dress appropriately. Make sure you dress in layers and that you dress warm enough depending on where you live for how cool it can be in the early morning. Number three, make sure to give yourself at least an hour to enjoy this show. If you go out for just 10 or 15 minutes, you're probably going to be disappointed. Now that we've talked a little bit about the northern and southern hemispheres, and also some tips to help you out with this meteor shower, let's go into the specifics of exactly when and where you need to look to maximize your experience regardless of where you live on the planet Earth. These meteors are the remnants of Halley's Comet and make their way through our atmosphere about this time every year as Earth's orbit passes through their path. Let's start with those of us that live in the northern hemisphere. The peak of the shower for 2021 will be on the early morning of May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. You're going to want to head out around 4:30 a.m. and face towards the east. Here you will find the Moon and Jupiter along with the constellation Aquarius, where the meteors will appear to be shooting out of. Honestly, don't expect much out of this shower from the northern hemisphere. You may see 5 to 10 meteors per hour, but the moon and the sun rising are really going to wash out some of the fainter meteors this year. For those of you who live in the southern hemisphere, however, this shower is going to be much more impressive and you will also have more time to enjoy it. Go outside starting around 2:30 a.m. on the morning of May 5th. Facing towards the east, look for the Moon and Jupiter. Here again, you will find the meteors shooting out of the constellation Aquarius, but you will have several more hours to observe it before the sun rises and can hope to get around possibly 30 to 40 meteors per hour. But again, the moon will wash out some of the fainter meteors for this year's show. If you're planning on getting out to enjoy the Eta Aquarids meteor shower, please be sure to let me know about your questions and experiences with it in the comments section below, particularly for those of you who live in the southern hemisphere who are going to have a much better show than me up north. Thank you all so much for your continued support, and clear skies from Late Night Astronomy.